Alright, hello there and welcome to another After Effects tutorial. And in this one, we're going to be covering more on how to use text in After Effects. Alright, so if I go over to my character panel, we covered this in the last video, but just as a little quick review and a little bit more, I'm able to change my font here and I can change the font size as well. I'm able to change the leading, so if I had like another line, so like more text, I can change the leading if I want, how far apart the lines are. I'll press Ctrl Z to undo all of that. I can also change my tracking, how far apart the letters are spaced. And down here I have the option to add a stroke if I want. So if I want to give it a stroke, I can do that. And I can change the type of stroke that it is over here. I'm also able to change how tall the text is right here and how wide the text is. So if I want it really wide, I can do that here. And I have here the baseline also, which moves the text above or beneath your anchor point. And down here I can also make other changes to my text, so I can make it bolder, give it italics, I can give it small caps if I want, like this, and so on. Now, one other thing with the text as well that I want to mention is that if you have not moved your anchor point and you open up your paragraph and you start playing with the alignment, notice that the text jumps according to where the anchor point is. So if you want it left aligned, it is adjusted according to this anchor point right here. If I want it in the center, it's adjusted to where the center is. And if I want it on the right side, it's adjusted on the right side. Now, if you start moving your anchor point, this isn't going to apply. So if I show you very quickly, like right here, if I try to move it, it doesn't work anymore. It works from where you first had your anchor point. So that's something to keep in mind. Now, if I go down here and I open up my text like this, I have something called the source text. And if I put a keyframe here, notice that a hold keyframe has been created. Now, if I go ahead now and I adjust this text, so I'll call it adjustment right here. Notice that another hold keyframe has been created. And how these keyframes work is that in between, there is no interpolation until the next keyframe is reached. So in other words, this text here is going to remain the same until it reaches this next keyframe. And then it is going to jump. So you see how it jumps there. Now, some of you may be wondering, can I say possibly move this text? Well, notice what would happen if I tried to do that. If I moved it, say right here, and I go back, notice that my first text is down here as well. That is because we moved the entire layer. We actually adjusted the transform properties. So if I press Ctrl Z to put it back, notice that the position changed down here. So that's just something that you have to be aware of. Now you can also animate the text. So we have an animator option right here. And if I click on this, I have a few options that have appeared. So I can say choose the scale right here. Notice that a new animator has been created. And I'm going to close up my transform here for more space. But notice that an animator has been created. And say I want to bump this up to 150, what would happen? Notice that my text has been enlarged. And for this, I'm going to bump up my tracking a little bit. Right about there. Good. Now back down here to this animator. If I twirl this down, I'm able to adjust where the animator actually starts. So if I bump up my start like this, I can adjust where the animator starts. I can also adjust it from the endpoint, and I can adjust the offset, so the difference between the start and the end. I'm going to put that back to 0. And you can keyframe this as well if you want. So say you wanted it to be like this in the beginning, and then right here you want it to be 100. So if I play it back, you have something like that, and I'll make it a little bit closer together. Like that. Very simple example. And let me go ahead and I'm going to delete this extra text over here as well. So we just have this. And we also have the advanced option as well. So if we go down here, we are able to make other adjustments that we want. Now to this animator, we can also add more things. So we can add either properties or a selector. I'm going to go up to my properties, and let's say I wanted to add a blur like this. So in the beginning, I'll have the blur set to 70 like this, put a keyframe, and then at the end, I will set it to 0 so that our text is fully seen. So if I go back now, you have something like this. So that's a little bit more about how you can work with text, how you can animate it. So I hope that you will give it a try, and we will see you on the next tutorial. Until next time.